Well, well, well. What a game that was yesterday, right? The Montreal Canadiens went out there and lost 6-5 to the Edmonton Oilers. And I'm not gonna lie, I did watch the second half of the game pretty much. Whenever I finished recording and uploading the Nashville and Vancouver video, that's when I tuned into Montreal-Edmonton. So I was able to see the attempted comeback, the goals, the fact that Cole Caufield propelled himself to number 1 in the NHL in goals. And then we saw the rest. The calls, the penalties, the fact that Edmonton was able to come back and win this game off of a series of very ill-timed and ill-looking minors. Now, for me personally, I was kind of satirically egging the Oilers on, hoping that they would score some points, because I personally have got Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, and Bouchard in my pool, so the fact that Evan Bouchard only had 1 point on the season heading into this one, I was like, okay, if the guy's gonna get points, it's gotta be now. The referees are giving Montreal a very tough time here, and the Oilers have a chance to take advantage of it. And, you know, sometimes you get what you wish for, and the Edmonton Oilers ultimately won this one 6-5. Now, Cole Caufield, as we had mentioned, ended up scoring 2 really beautiful goals back-to-back to give Montreal the lead in this hockey game. And as we had mentioned, because of that, Caufield is now tied for first in the NHL in total goals, alongside of some pretty notable names. Pavel Dorofeyev, Shane Pinto, Mark Scheifele, and Seth Jarvis all have 7 goals on the year, tied with Caufield. Caufield, unfortunately, though, has done it in the most games played out of all of these guys. Some of these guys are a goal-a-game player. Caufield has some assists thrown in there, too, so it's a little bit diversified, but really, Caufield is amongst the NHL's best of the best when it comes to goals being put in. But the funny part is, I don't even know if that's really the story here. Sure, Caufield scored some goals, and sure, he's been doing that all season, but I think what Caufield did after the game is what more people are going to be paying attention towards, especially the morning after, because after the game, Cole Caufield was interviewed, and he ended up saying that the referees took over the game. Kudos to them for winning it. And that, oh boy, that's going to get you a fine, buddy. Now, I don't think Cole Caufield, of all people, or any Canadiens fan who watched the game yesterday, is really going to care about the fines. Yes, you're not really allowed to say stuff like that. We acknowledge that that's how the system is. You can't really critique the officiating, you're not really allowed to do that. So when somebody does, and you know he's going to get the fine because of it, it's like, oh, what a big, spicy comment. And honestly, you know, it's not like Caufield is saying anything that's disagreeable, in a sense. I think any Canadiens fan who watched the game yesterday is like, yeah, he's exactly right. That's what happened. Like, Mike Matheson for tripping, Josh Anderson for unsportsmanlike conduct, Jake Evans getting a misconduct. Sure, you can say that some of the calls might have been warranted, but the volume and the timing is what matters here. And it's how the entire game dynamic shifted on end after Montreal battled back and got themselves the lead. They opened the third period with a goal, after all. But then you started to see the Oilers bounce back. You saw Draisaitl from McDavid and Nuge from McDavid and Bouchard. Vasily Podkolzin then gets the tiebreaker in the final minute of the third period. Shout out to Pods, by the way, for going out there and scoring that goal. We miss you here in Vancouver, Vasily. But Cole Caufield going out there and straight up saying that, yeah, the referees took over the game, kudos to them for winning it. I can understand that there is some sour graping going on here. Obviously, Cole Caufield, he's an emotional guy. That was an emotional game. The fact that he was able to will his team back into the lead only to get messed up by some of those calls. Obviously, Montreal Canadiens players are not going to be the most peaceful after a game like that. But for Cole Caufield, I think this might have to be a lesson for this guy, just to kind of calm it down a little bit. Not because, you know, it's wrong what he said, but because he's just not really allowed to do that. And even though I can understand there will be comments saying, yeah, good on Cole for calling out the system, pay whatever fines you can pay, it's better for him to spread his message than for him to be silent on something that is clearly wrong. You're free to have that opinion too. At the end of the day, though, Cole Caufield making this commentary out into the media is only going to put a target on his back a little bit more heading into the next few weeks here, especially from Oilers fans. I mean, I'm not going to go out there and say that fan bases targeting players is that big of a deal, but I don't want Oilers fans to start hating on my guy Cole, calling him a whiny baby, this and that, which I'm already seeing a ton of because of the interview that he made. But either way, we'll just let the fine do the talking. He'll probably get one, most likely. If he doesn't, then hey, he got away with one there. Not that the fine is really a significant amount of money in Cole Caufield's mind anyway. Sure, for me or you, it probably would be, but Cole's making $7-something million a year. I think he'll be fine. So yeah, that of course, I think it's the biggest story of the night. If you wanted to know where I was watching this game, yes, I was watching it, but as I mentioned to y'all in a bunch of videos now, I tested positive for COVID the other day, and I'm sick as a dog. Like, my voice is starting to get better slightly, but I can't really record as many videos in the same volume as I usually do, so even though I might sound okay now, I'm gonna have to take a pretty big break before recording today's next video, and that's just kind of how my body is reacting to this stuff. I still feel weightless, I still feel dizzy, and you know, at the very least, it means that I don't need to get the vaccine anymore because I've already got it in my body. So, yeah. Imagine getting COVID in 2025. What a loser am I, right? Anyways, Cole Caufield, Montreal, Edmonton. I did watch the game, or the second half of the game at least. And by the time the game concluded, I was kind of thinking, I was like, do I want to make a video about this right now? Do I want to talk about it, get out of bed, disrupt the flow of what I'm going through, and just kind of force myself and gargle out a video? I was kind of like, nah, maybe it's not the best idea to do that, so we can just shove it off until the tomorrow morning time slot, which is exactly what we're doing because Montreal fans probably went to sleep. Angrily so, but they probably went to sleep after the Habs and Oilers game concluded. The Habs have themselves Vancouver on Saturday, and if I am not the biggest Montreal homer on the planet for this game, I don't know what I would be, because Vancouver has been going through such a difficult, struggling time the past few games here. They don't look good, the players look checked out, the superstars are not playing like superstars, and now they've got a hungry, angry, indignant Montreal Canadiens team knocking on their doorstep Saturday night, and we're in the spots. So hopefully, we'll see some reputable action in the upcoming Saturday game, and that's going to be a really fun one for me to go out there and check out too as a Canadiens and a Canucks fan. But for now, Cole Caufield, he's making headlines because he called out the referees and because he's #1 in the NHL in goals. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to hit the like button. If you didn't, the dislike button is down there for you too. Thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about Caufield's response to the refereeing and the game as a whole? The fact that he put himself up to #1 in the NHL in goals whilst being the subject of a very heartbreaking quote that literally goes out there and targets the referees. What are your thoughts on all this stuff? Leave it in the comments section below because comments help out with the algorithm. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.